I get it, you get tired during the day, you feel lazy, so you procrastinate. So this video is a bit different. After making literally more than 300 productivity videos on YouTube, these are my 7 most effective time management strategies, actionable steps that you can implement today that will help you stay productive even when you're feeling tired, even when you're feeling unmotivated. And the best part is they focus on how to make productivity more effortless, meaning you don't have to necessarily work harder. So just as the title says, perfect for lazy people. So if you're a lazy person, this one's for you. Pair your tasks with your biological prime times. Everyone has a time in the day where they have the most energy, they're at their most productive. So for early birds, it might be first thing in the morning. For night owls, it might be late evenings and nighttime. The idea here is to pair your most important tasks with your biological prime time, and the tasks that are less important or are less intensive, like replying to emails, you can pair those tasks during the time when you naturally have less energy. So for example, this is my biological energy cycle. So when I wake up at about 6:30 in the morning, that's when I have the most energy. So I go straight to the gym, and then I usually go to a coffee shop to get a 4-hour deep work session in. And this is where I, for 4 hours, basically cut off from the world. I put in my active noise cancellation headphones and enter into a flow state to complete my most important task of that day. And usually in this 4 hours, I get more done than the entire rest of the day. Usually at around noon, after I eat lunch, that's when my energy levels drop slightly. So this is when I do more shallow work, replying to emails, holding meetings, conference calls, any kind of consulting calls I might have. Basically tasks that don't need too much brain power. Then at around 4 p.m, my energy levels start climbing again, so again I get another 4 hours of deep focused work in, and then around 10 p.m. I sleep. So I really like this idea of pairing tasks with energy levels because it just makes things so much easier. I know we've all been in that situation where we're trying our best to complete a task, but we just don't have the energy, and that's when procrastination kicks in. But becoming familiar with your biological prime time can help a lot with this in terms of making your productivity more streamlined and just easier. It's great for lazy people because when your energy levels drop, say in the middle of the day around lunchtime, you can literally just have a nap for an hour because you know that it's not your biological prime time, so you don't need to be super productive at that time. Protect your prime time like you would a doctor's appointment. Once you've found when your prime time is, you need to protect it. For example, that means for me, I don't schedule meetings in the morning. I almost always schedule all my team meetings or any consulting calls in the afternoon because I protect the first 4 hours of the morning for deep focus tasks like writing a 2,000 word article. The people around me know this too. For example, they know that I might not be as responsive in the morning because I'm usually in a state of flow, completely focused on something else. You have time to do everything you want. This is more of a mindset strategy than anything, but it's so incredibly powerful once you vehemently understand it on a deep level. It's this idea that everything you do, whether it's procrastination or working, you are doing it because you want to be doing it. Your actions are completely in your own control. If you're procrastinating and putting off studying for an exam, that's a decision that you made. You've made that decision because you want to push back your revision. Don't ever tell yourself that you don't have time to do something because you do have time, you just chose not to prioritize it. The daily highlight. This is also called the MIT strategy, or the most important task strategy. The idea is that you set yourself one task a day, just one task, and it should be the task that moves the needle more than any other task. So I usually combine the biological prime time strategy, where I'll be getting my most important task done in my prime time, so the first 4 hours after waking up. And then after you've completed that most important task and you procrastinate for the rest of the day, it's like, well, so what? You were still productive because you completed your main task. Implement self-imposed time constraints. If you give yourself 2 weeks to write an assignment, it will take you 2 weeks to write that assignment. If you give yourself 4 hours to write that assignment, it will probably just take you 4 hours. It's Parkinson's law in action, right? Where the task takes however long you have to complete it. So it's exactly this reason why a lot of students wait until the day before or a few days before the exam to start preparing for it, even though they've had weeks or even months to start preparing for it. And I found that setting myself time constraints on each task that I have, particularly the longer tasks that will take 2 or more hours, has been ridiculously effective in helping me improve my productivity. So for example, when preparing what to say for this very video, I literally gave myself 1 hour to do it. It could have taken me all day, but I set a time constraint of 1 hour. And what this does is that it gives you a sense of urgency to get that task done relatively quickly, and it keeps me motivated because I have some kind of end goal to work towards. It's like I have to complete this task within 1 hour. It's almost like gamifying the process, therefore making it a bit more fun. I go through this in far more detail in my Skillshare class that I uploaded literally just a few weeks ago. It's on how to build habits to achieve your long-term goals faster. So whatever your goals are, whether they're to graduate with a 4.0 GPA, because that was my goal throughout university, or whether it's to get a six-pack or lose 10 kilograms or become a millionaire by the time you're, I don't know, 30 years old, the habits class that I created is designed to help you achieve those very goals in the fastest, most strategic, most effective way by just taking small incremental progress every day, step by step. And alongside the class, I've also made a workbook full of tips and exercises that you can go through too. I think it's like a 11 or 12 page workbook because I did want to add a level of interactivity that you just don't get from these YouTube videos. And the best part, you can access that class and all my other Skillshare classes for free for 1 month by clicking on the link in the description. It's an absolute steal. You have nothing to lose. It's literally for free. Click the link in the description if you're interested. Reduce your workload. This is probably my favorite strategy. Productivity isn't about getting a lot of things done, it's about getting the most important tasks done on a consistent basis. And it's very likely that some of the tasks you're doing, you don't actually need to do. It's all about prioritization, right? For example, I remember when I was first starting university, I was given like a whole reading list of books to read. And in the first semester, I was trying to read through all the books, the entire reading list. And this was actually a complete waste of time. In fact, after the first semester, I realized that studying the lecturer's presentation slides and the notes I took during class was a significantly more effective use of my time as opposed to reading through endless thick textbooks. Balance your life for long-term productivity. Now this one is huge. If you're focusing on sustainable long-term productivity, which you should be doing, then it's so important to balance your life accordingly. I was reading a few months ago about the Global Happiness Index that ranks over 150 countries on what is essentially how happy the average individual of each country is. And interestingly, as of March 2022, Finland have ranked the happiest nation 5 times in a row, which is crazy. And then it's like, okay, why? How? And after some digging, one of the main reasons is because they prioritize balance, social life, and health over wealth and material possessions, as opposed to countries such as the US, which prioritizes wealth accumulation and selling what is essentially what is the American dream, right? Having a well-paid job, having a job with status like a lawyer or doctor or CEO, that is the definition of success in the US, which is very different to the definition of success in Finland. So if you're aiming for long-term productivity, don't just prioritize your career and wealth accumulation, but make sure that you have your mental health in check, your physical health in check, your social life in check, your relationships in check, your family, your happiness, and you're far less likely to burn out. I have actually made another video like this just a few months ago called How I Manage My Time to 2x My Productivity, which I go into more detail with my own personality productivity routine. You can click on the card on the screen to watch that. Alternatively, I made another video called How I Transformed from Lazy to Motivated in 1 year, which is kind of a motivational / inspirational video, something a bit different and more personal about my own journey and how far I've come. So if you need a bit of a push, then you can watch that video too by clicking on the card on the screen, and whichever video you choose, I'll see you over there.